Okay. It's in. It should be projecting at the moment, but perfect. Test, test, test. Test 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yeah, and once they get in here, we'll just, obviously we need to start the recording, but other than that.
I sent you an email just for fun. You click on that email and see if I can sign you. We come from Riverside.
You did send me an email? From where?
Probably in Riverside up here.
Maybe you went to spam? Okay. I don't appear to have gotten it. Okay. Because what? I don't know what that yellow is. For 11th grade, yeah. I already gave those to her, and she's going to give them to the study hall folk. We actually got them put out on the chairs. Now for the 10th grade one, we're not going to have time to do that more than likely. So then, yeah, we'll need stuff passed out then. What's that? Oh.
In case they don't
Yeah.
listen to something, but we're not handing those out. They have to.
So have a seat somewhere where there's something on your chair. So when we get to 10th grade, it looks like they already sorted them. Look at that. Look at how awesome they are. So it should be 3 things, this, and a course catalog. So they're already, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll come back then.
Perfect, thank you. So go ahead and have a seat, guys, at one of the chairs that's got papers on it for me, please. Come on in and have a seat somewhere where you've got papers on the chair already. Yeah, have a seat anywhere that there's papers already on a chair for me, please. So have a seat anywhere there's a chair that has papers on it. And what you need the pen for is you need to write your name at the top of each of those 3 items that you've got. So please write your name at the top of all 3 items that you have. So find a chair that already has some papers on it for me, please, y'all, and have a seat there. So have a seat at one of the chairs that already has papers on it for me, please. There's some up this way. So you already lost one of yours. All right, so have a seat at one of the chairs that's got papers on it already for me, and write your name at the top of all three things. And someone's going to sit here, so put that foot down for me. You got one up here. There's one right. You need papers. You'll need those. So have a seat at one of the chairs that's got papers already on it for me, guys. There's a couple up here. And I need for you to write your name at the top of each of the three items that you've got. All right, so come have a seat up here at one of the seats that has papers on it for me. Come up front. There's some right here. And if you've not already done so, please write your name at the top of each of the three items you have. You should have three things. You should have this thing that says time inventory. You should have something that says 10th grade elective options, which is on blue, and on this course catalog. So just make sure you write your name at the top of all three of those things. Oh my goodness. These aren't mine, so make sure you give them back. Okay, so course registration for next school year. Or how did I end up in this class, right? So what's this video about? Or this meeting about, really? Discuss your roles and responsibilities with course registration that's coming up next week. Number two, to provide you with some guidance with selecting classes for next year. And third is going to be to highlight some important upcoming dates that you need to be aware of. Okay, you should have those three items that I talked about: a course catalog, your elective options sheet, and your time inventory worksheet. You should have those three things. Tomorrow in your study hall, you'll get a copy of your transcript so far, what you've completed through ninth grade. So your responsibilities with this course registration process. First, take it seriously. You're going to be living all of next school year based on the choices that you make now. So choose wisely, okay? Spend some time thinking about your choices. You don't want to wait till the last minute and just scribble something down and then that's what you're doing, okay? So spend some time thinking about it. Don't wait until the last minute, okay? Make sure you look at the big picture. For example, what do you still need for graduation, right? What classes do you still need to take? What is your overall workload level going to be like next year, right? Are you participating in sports, drama, other co-curriculars, things like that? How much time are they going to take, right? Are you going to have a part-time job during the school year next year? You want to look at everything in terms of the big picture, right? Make sure you're choosing classes that you want to take, okay? Choose classes, not teachers. So those two statements. The first, choose classes that you want to take. Don't just sign up for a class because your friend signed up for the class. You may not be in the same class. There could be multiple sections of that class and you're in different classes. And you're like, well, I didn't really want to take this, but my friend signed up for it, so did I. And you might not even have class with that person, right? So pick classes that you want to take. Second thing is choosing classes, not teachers. Remember that teachers and the classes that they teach change from year to year. So just because a particular teacher is teaching a class this year doesn't necessarily mean it's the same teacher teaching it next year. So choose classes that you want to take, not teachers. Make sure you're getting signed what needs to be signed by your parents, and I'll go through that in a little bit. And then make sure you turn in your forms on time. The way we do scheduling in this school, the rising 12th graders get first priority, and the reason why is because they've only got 1 year left. They've only got one chance left to get the classes that they need, either to graduate or the classes that they want. You know, maybe they waited until senior year and they really wanted to take culinary arts. Well, that's their last chance. It's their only chance to get it. So they have highest priority, then the rising juniors, then you guys as the rising sophomores. Our incoming freshmen are at the bottom of the pile. Well, if you don't turn your stuff in on time, you're behind even the incoming freshmen, right? So make sure you turn in your stuff on time. All right, AP and honors course contracts. So that you're aware, for any honors or AP course that you are recommended for and that you choose to register for, you'll be given a contract, and that contract needs to be signed by you and your parent, okay? Those contracts are course specific, so like there's a different one for, say, English honors than for math honors, for example, right? They're course specific, and they will describe the expectations for that course in detail, so you know what you're getting into. Once that contract has been signed, you are in that course for a full semester, period, the end, okay? Here's what those contracts look like, okay? Make sure in the middle part there, I know you can't read it from there, and that's fine, but in the middle part there that's in bold, those are your course expectations. Make sure you read through those so you know what kind of workload to expect. You know, so if this is one for English 10 honors, and it says you can expect to spend approximately 3 to 4 hours a week, and that's outside of class. 3 to 4 hours a week if you take honors English 10. It will include a summer reading novel, accompanying short stories, minimum of 3 essays a semester, cumulative vocabulary quizzes, weekly quizzes on readings, formal presentations, a research paper, and 2 to 3 novels a semester. That's what's involved in English 10 honors, just as an example, okay? So make sure you read through those. Well, where do you get these contracts if that's a class that you're taking? For your core classes, so your English, math, social studies, science, you'll receive them with your form. So you'll get a registration form, you'll receive the contract with it if that's where you were recommended to be. If it's another course that you're taking, maybe like Honors Art, for example, Honors Art Studio, then you'll receive that contract from the teacher at the time you sign up for that course, because you're going to have to get her signature for that, okay? All right, the time inventory sheet that you have, okay? What this is all about. This is not something you need to turn into us, but it's something that I recommend that you do. My experience with course registration is students' academic eyes tend to be bigger than their academic stomachs at the time of course registration, or they're not taking into account all the stuff they do outside of school too and how many hours that takes. So on the first side, you'll see it asks you, okay, think about all the things you're involved in, okay? So what are your spiritual commitments? Maybe you volunteer to run the tech at your church, or you're part of a youth group there that meets every Wednesday night, or you go on church retreats or whatever, right? Write down whatever those commitments are that you have and how many hours outside of school, outside of class that you need to be successful with that. What family commitments do you have? Again, depending on your family situation, you may have more or less commitments at home in terms of maybe you're responsible for mowing the lawn, or maybe you're responsible for cleaning the house, whatever it is, right? So list those down there. The classes that you plan on taking, 1 through 8, list those. How many hours do you need outside of class to succeed? What are your co-curriculars, sports, drama, clubs, etc.? How many hours outside is that going to take? And then other time commitments. Now, I listed on there for you already sleep. Yeah, you do need it, right? And it's at least 7 hours a day, if not more, right? And then, yeah, hang out with friends. We all need to do that, right? Just to live a normal, healthy life, right? So write down all that stuff. Then what I want you to look at on the backside is you're going to take all of those hours that you've just added up. Where are you going to fit them in? Figure it out, okay? The part that's kind of grayed out in the middle there on your weekly schedule, that's when you're in school here, right? So that's when you're in class. Well, you can't do any of those things over there during that time frame. But where are you going to fit it in? For all of us, there's only so many hours in a day, and this is how many hours we each get in a Sunday through Saturday week. So this is a good exercise for those of you that are heavily involved in things, or you're planning on taking honors or AP everything. You know, okay, fine, map it out. Really take a look at how many hours you're going to be spending on those things, okay? Again, not something you have to turn into us, but I recommend that you do that, okay? All right, graduation requirements. I did mention that you want to make sure you know what courses you still need to graduate. So here it is. In order to get out of here with a diploma, which is the preferred method for leaving Mount Bethel, You need a total of 25.5 credits. 1 credit equals 1 year, okay? So that includes 4 credits of Bible. You'll take that every semester you're here. 4 credits of English, 4 credits of social studies, 4 credits of math, and 4 credits of science, okay? So you'll take those pretty much every year you're here, all right? Then you need 2 credits of world language in the same language. You can't take like Spanish 1 and Latin 1 and then you're done. Like, no, it's got to be 2 of the same language. You can always take more than that. That's just the minimum, okay? Then you need to have 1 credit of fine arts. Again, 1 credit equals 1 year, so you could take 1 year-long fine art class or 2 one-semester classes. That's fine, as long as you get to at least 1, okay? I'll get questions at the end if I can, thank you. 1 credit of PE. Now PE, I'll get into that a little bit more later about exactly what does that mean. And then 1 credit of rhetoric, that's your senior thesis, so you don't have to worry about that class till your senior year, okay? And then you do need a half credit in personal finance. That's where that half credit comes. Now you can't do that until you're at least a junior. So you don't have to worry about that for now, but your junior or senior year, you'll have to fit that in. Okay, let me get into the PE requirement a little more clearly. To satisfy the PE requirement, you've got to have health, which most of you I hope have already taken, either in the summer or during your schedule this year. If you've not already had it, like if you didn't take it this year, it is highly recommended that you do that during the summer because it is hard to get a non-freshman into that class. Just the schedules don't tend to work well. So it's highly recommended if that's you that you take it over the summer, okay? Now, personal fitness, that requirement you can meet in several ways. Number 1, you can take the personal fitness class. Number 2, you can participate in 2 seasons of Mount Bethel athletics. Okay? And these have to be active sports. So not all sports count for that. So if you, for example, we're on the archery team, nothing wrong with archery, that's great. That doesn't count towards this because we don't consider that an active sport, so to speak. And the other thing you can do is complete and document 100 hours of participation in outside athletic activity. Now that one is going away, just so you know. That particular way. The other thing you can do is you can take strength and conditioning or a new PE class that's being offered next year's Lifetime Sports. So if you take really any of the PE classes, personal fitness, strength and conditioning, Lifetime Sports, any of those, that'll count for your other half plus health. Now you've met your PE requirement, okay? All right, let's get past that. All right, health on the beach. That's right. If you've not already taken health, we do offer it during the summer. The class begins on Monday, June the 2nd. It continues through Friday, July 18th. So it's not the entire summer, but it's most of it, okay? The classes, though, are completely online, which is why you can do this on the beach if you want, right? The cost of the class is $275. That includes your textbook, so just for what that's worth. If that's something you want to do, at the bottom of your registration form, I'll show you a picture of that in a minute, you'll just write health. There's a place where you can say any summer courses you're wanting to do. So you'll just write health there if that's something you want to do. All right, so course registration week, that is next week. So on Monday, March the 10th, your course registration form is going to be given to you in Compass. So here is an example of what your registration form is going to look like, okay? So you'll notice at the top there, we've got, this is student sample is the name of this kid. You'll notice that all of his core classes are pre-printed on there. So over the course of January and February, all of your core course teachers have been deciding where they think is the best place for you to be placed for next year, okay? And then those were all reviewed by their department chairs, and then they have all been reviewed by me. So every one of you, all of your core course placements have been reviewed by at least 3 people, okay? So they're all going to be pre-printed. Now at the top of the page, you'll see the number of electives you still need. So it says courses requested 12, still needed is 4, because 16 is the magic number we're looking for. Why? Because you take 8 classes each semester. 8 and 8 is 16, right? So it'll tell you, just in case you're not advanced in math, we'll tell you, hey, you've got 12 pre-printed on here, still need 4, okay? So from here, you need to pick electives so that you have a total of 16 classes, okay? Now, how do we do that? How do we pick electives? Well, you should have an elective options sheet. So that's that blue sheet that was on your chair. So you can take a look at that. These are the different elective options that are available for 10th graders. Okay? And there's also a course catalog. So pay attention as you look through the different options there to which electives require a teacher signature. So this is just a little snippet from that blue sheet. So for example, if it's a way to read this, Honors Art Studio, notice there's a Y next to it in parentheses. That means it's a year-long class, right? It's in fine art, so it would fulfill a fine art requirement. You need to see Ms. Corradino to take that class. You can't just write it on there, right? You need to go see her. She'll sign your form, and she would give you the honors contract at that time. If, however, you're interested in Introduction to Digital Design, notice there's an S there. That means it's a semester class, so it's only one semester. It's a fine art, but NA. You don't need to see a teacher to register for that. You can just write it on your form. No signature necessary, okay? So that's how you read through that elective options sheet. Now, the course catalog is much thicker. This has literally every class in the school that we teach in the high school and about a paragraph-long description of what goes on in that class. So if you can't really tell from the title what the class is about, or you just want more information, just find that class in the course catalog. You get all the information you would want about it there, okay? So again, if you want to take Intro to Digital Design, you would just write it on your form. But if you wanted to take Honors Art Studio, you'd need to see Ms. Corradino to do that, okay, just as an example. Okay, so back on our form here, you need to pick electives, so you have a total of 16 classes. So our student here chose to take Honors Art Studio, and then a semester of Strength and Conditioning, and a semester of Study Hall, okay? So that's what this student has done. Notice that Honors Art Studio is written there twice because it's a year-long class, right? And so we're talking each of these is a one semester class. That, by the way, if you look at the top, that's why New Testament is printed there twice. That's why English 10 Honors was printed there twice, because you're taking it both semesters, right? Okay. Make sure you get those teacher signatures, though, for the courses that require them. So there's Ms. Corradino's beautiful signature that she has signed next to Honors Art Studio. When I look at all these registration forms, I will be making sure that there are signatures on there for the appropriate teachers, for those that need them. So make sure you take care of that. Now, for each elective, be sure that you choose an alternate, okay? We do the best that we can to give every student all the electives that they choose, right? I think this past year we had a total of 13 students out of the entire upper school that did not get everything that they wanted. And we really do try hard to make that happen. But almost invariably, there's a small handful that don't. Well, we just need an alternate for that. In case we can't get you in your first choice, what do you want to take instead? So this student chose, well, if I can't get into Honors Art Studio, in the alternate, that's the column on the right, I'll take Digital Media Production, which is also a year-long class. If I don't get Strength and Conditioning, put me in Life Sports. Notice there's no alternate for Study Hall, because you will get a Study Hall, right? If you request a Study Hall, you'll get it, guaranteed, right? So you don't have to put an alternate for that. Okay, then at the bottom, make sure you and your parents sign the form, right? Very important, okay? Now, on Friday, March the 14th, that's when your registration form, signed by both you and your parents, is due to Miss Driver, so next Friday. Any AP or honors contracts, again signed by both you and your parents, are also due at the same time. Just paper clip them right behind is totally fine. Friday the 14th is the last day that you can turn in your form, change your mind, change your schedule, or something without some sort of consequence, right? Now, it may not be a big deal, the consequence, but there is one. Let me give you a little bit of background about how we build the master schedule for the school, right? Each year we build a brand new master schedule, and it's to accommodate your requests. So when you go to college, for example, that's not how they do it. They're going to say, we're going to have 2 physics classes, and one of them is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 o'clock, and the other one's going to be Tuesday, Thursday at 1 o'clock. And if that doesn't fit in your schedule, too bad. That's not what we do. We take all these registration forms and we figure out, okay, how many classes of each of these courses do we need? How many sections of classes do we need? Maybe this year we only needed 1, let's say, anatomy class, but next year we need 3 of them. Okay, that's what we do. So we build a brand new master schedule based on your requests, right? Every year we get about 2,800 course requests that we've got to navigate through when we're doing this. We hire faculty, we purchase technology, and we assign rooms based on those requests. So that's what I mean when I say take this seriously. Okay, this isn't just some random form or whatever. We make big decisions based on this. If you have to make changes to these, it can negatively impact everything from how big the classes are to whether they're even available or not. Like for example, if there's a particular elective and only 2 kids signed up for it, we may just cancel that class because we didn't have enough to make a class. But then after we've made that decision, then 5 other kids, oh, I want to take that class. It's like, well, we've canceled it now, right? So it's important to put that time in now so that sort of thing doesn't happen. So back on your registration form here. Now, sometimes changes are necessary. Things happen, right? Here's how you handle those. If you have an AP or honors course that you don't want to take, so you were recommended to take it, but you're like, I don't want to do that. Either you're not interested in it, you've got, your workload is too much, and you say, I don't think I can handle that, that's fine. All you have to do, if that's your situation, is cross off that AP class and write in the on-level alternative. AP and honors courses are invitation only, but you can always decline that invitation, right, just by crossing it off. If there are other placement changes, those have to go through the appropriate department chair, right? So there's a place at the bottom of the form that I want you to see right there. Okay, if you have any placement questions, that's what you do. So you see there's 2 boxes to check. One is I agree with the above request. The other is I have a problem or question about the above request. So this student said, I'd like to be placed in chemistry honors. They were recommended for on-level chemistry. Okay, if that's you, then that's all you got to do. Check the box, write in your question. You will get an answer before spring break. Okay, it does take a little bit of time to go through those forms and me to siphon the questions off to the appropriate department chair and for them to do a little bit of looking into the situation and that kind of thing. But that's all you have to do. Please do not email me. Please do not email your teacher or have your parents do it or call or whatever. Just check the box, write in your question. You will get an answer. I promise you that. Okay. All right. Changes to elective courses. So after you've turned this in, remember March 14th, next Friday, that's the last day to change your course request without some sort of consequence. Okay. If you ask to make a change after that point in time, you lose your place in line. Remember I said it's seniors, then juniors, then sophomores, which will be you guys next year, then the incoming freshmen. But if you decide to make a change after that, you go to the bottom of the pile. Okay? I mean, we're still going to try to put you in all the classes you want, but some of the more popular classes may be full at that time. And that's just kind of the way it is. So you go to the bottom of the pile. If that's you, come see me to request that change. We'll do the best we can, but we can't make any promises at that point. Okay? Now, beginning August 1st, the only changes we make are adds, drops, or emergencies. Now, what do I mean by adds? Let's say you had a study hall in your schedule because maybe you were planning on playing a fall sport, maybe you were planning on playing football, and then over the summer you decided I don't want to do that. Let me just go ahead and knock out one of the electives I need to graduate. Okay, so you're going to replace a study hall with a class. You're adding a class. Okay, if we can fit it in your schedule, sure, we'll do that. A drop. Well, I wasn't planning on playing football, and then I decided over the summer to do it, and man, now I'm just going to be overworked. I need to drop that elective to add a study hall. Okay, if it works in your schedule, we will do that. What we don't do is swap electives. Okay, that doesn't happen at that point. And of course, emergencies would be approved. Now, the adds and drops are for electives only, not core classes, so you can't request a level change at this point in time, right? It's just for electives. Those adds and drops are allowed only until day 5 of the semester. So we go blue, gold, blue. That's it. We don't do any more after that, okay? Unless it's an emergency. Now, over the years, we've had students not understand the definition of the word emergency. So I'm here to try to help you with that, okay? So emergency schedule changes. So here's an example of a valid reason for an emergency schedule change. I had knee surgery, so I'm not able to participate in the PE class I'm taking. I need to switch to a different elective. Okay. Hopefully at this time, here in March, you're not planning all of a sudden to have knee surgery in September. Presumably something unfortunate has happened to you and now you have to have knee surgery, now you can't do PE. Okay, that is an emergency. Obviously, we would make that change. Now, this is a slide that has invalid reasons for emergency schedule changes. I want you to keep in mind this is a non-comprehensive list, meaning there are more that I didn't put on here. But we have received every one of these requests from a student claiming that this was an emergency. I'm here to tell you that it is not. First, I didn't sign up for strength and conditioning, but now my coach wants me to take it. If you play a sport, I encourage you to talk to your coach now to find out, does your coach want you to take strength and conditioning? I will say, as the volleyball program director, yes, I like for my players, if they can fit it in their schedule, to take strength and conditioning. If they can't all fit it in, that's fine. I'm not going to require it. But your coach may have a different feeling or whatever. Talk to your coach now. Now is the time to have those conversations. My teacher is so fill in the blank. I'm sorry, be nicer to your teacher, and maybe that'll help with that. I didn't know that Honors Algebra 2 would be so much work. Yeah, you did, because we gave you a contract which showed you exactly how much work was going to be involved in that class. You maybe didn't choose to read it or pay attention to it, but you were told up front exactly how much work it was. Okay? I want to drop AP World History because I didn't do the summer reading. Well, I don't know if AP World History has summer reading or not, but that's obviously not a reason we would allow you to drop the class, because again, that's going to be on the contract. Okay? All of my hard classes are on the same day. Well, when we build the master schedule together, or we put it together, we can't account for, well, this, because some students may find these classes harder, some students may find those classes harder. We don't know which student finds which class hard. And actually, some students prefer it. They prefer to kind of have their harder classes on one day, because then they have sort of a harder day and an easier day. So they have a day to kind of catch their breath, and harder day, easier day, right? So that's not a reason that we can change your schedule, though. I'm playing a sport, acting in the school play, and I have a part-time job. I need a study hall. Again, now is the time to be thinking about those kinds of things. If it's within the first 5 days of the semester and you want to drop a class for a study hall, we can do that. But if it's later than that, then we can't. Okay? All right, now to see who's been paying attention. And there are prizes for this, by the way. So don't just blurt out the answer. You got to raise your hand, and I got to call on you. So first question. When will you receive your registration form, and when is it due? I saw your hand first. Okay, you're close. Monday the...
It's backwards. It's Monday.
Monday is...
11th and Monday the 14th.
Well, it's Monday the 10th, but it is due on Friday the 14th, right? So you'll get your form on Monday. It's due back on Friday. All right, raise your hand again. Don't, if you know the answer, don't blurt out. All right. I wasn't placed in English 10 honors, but I want to be. What do I do? Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Check the box at the bottom of the form saying I want to be put in there. Very good. All right. Next. Susie didn't get a signature for Intro to Art. Is she at the bottom of the pile? Why or why not? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, she's not.
Well, which is it? All right, go. She's not. Why? She is. Okay, boy, we're very indecisive over here. Oh, okay, that is not the right answer. I'm going to go right behind you there, right behind you. ZJ, you have your hand up? Sorry, what? You think no? Why? So she's not at the bottom of the pile because she didn't get the signature? She is at the bottom of the pile. That is not the right answer. Sorry. Oh, wait. Oh, we have the correct answer. Say that again. She's not at the bottom of the pile because that class doesn't require a signature. Ooh, trick question, trick question. Very good. All right. How many course requests do we process each year? 2,800. That is right. Don't steal his cookies. All right. So a couple of key takeaways for you. Again, make sure you take this process seriously. Again, you're living next year based on the choices you make now. Look at the big picture, not just the, what your friends are doing or anything like that. Make sure you get signed what needs to be signed and turn in your forms on time. All right, we have 3 minutes left. If you have a question, raise your hand and I will do my best to answer it. Did I answer it all? See, there we go. Do you have any questions at all? Anything? Anything? Yes, sir. That's a great question. If you did not take a language this year, will you be recommended for one, or will you have to choose? You'll need to choose. The reason you won't be recommended is because we don't know, do you want to do Spanish, Latin, or ASL? So if you didn't take a language this year, yes, you need to take one your sophomore year, start that process, but you can choose whichever one you want. Okay? Yes, sir.
Do STEM honors classes kind of an elective or those are more class?
They're technically an elective, but I'm actually glad you brought that up. Those of you that are in the STEM program, Mr. Acker is going to be meeting with you tomorrow during your Compass study hall to just kind of talk with you about what next steps are for next year and all that.
So would they take up an elective space?
They do. They do. Any other questions? All right. Make sure you keep those forms with you. They've got your name on them so that we can get them back to you in case you lose them, but please don't lose them. All right. Thank you very much for your attention. Leave your chairs where they were. You can go ahead and head off to lunch. Thank you very much. Yes,
I have a question, but I don't really like speaking out.
that's fine.
So if I'm taking, so I have to have English